Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here on such a lovely Thursday. Never more than you can bear. That's a popular biblical scripture. Never more than you can bear. But let's look at it through the lens of the law, shall we? We all have different stages that we are at. Everything begins as a seed. The seed has one thing to do: sprout. It can't bear fruit because that's not its season. That's not its state. It simply sprouts. So we have a seed, we have a sprout, we have a sapling, we have a tree, we have the flower, and then we have the fruit. And along each stage in our lives, there's something that must be done in that stage. As a seed, you will never be given the task of bearing fruit because it is beyond you. And it's not beyond you because you're weak or not worthy. It is beyond you because that is not the stage that you are at. This is part of the reason why we don't judge, why we don't envy, because you're not at that stage. It's not that they're ahead of you or you're behind. You're just not at that stage. But you can know this one thing for certain: you will become. That's it. This is something that we know will become the next phase because that is the progression of life. If you're in the seed stage, perhaps you're just learning. That's it. Then learn. Because the next stage will be right there before you know it. You just go right into it. It is a smooth transition from one stage to the next. And each stage is teaching you something. What is it teaching you? The seed stage is showing you what you have contained within. And when you see what you have contained within you, you begin to know yourself. Oh, this is who I am. And then you begin to sprout. Because as within, so without. You begin to show what you are. And from there, you mature into that sapling. Meaning now you are reaching for higher knowledge. Because that's what saplings do. They reach towards the sun as they are being anchored by their roots, by the thing that they were inside. Does this make sense? That little sapling now becomes a tree. And that tree, it facilitates life and growth to everything around it. It gives shade, it gives a home, then it begins to blossom. You see, in the blossom, when they open, they're so fragrant that they attract things. You know, bees and ladybugs who crawl around in that beautiful, beautiful blossom. And what does it do? It fosters new life, is what it does for that blossom. It allows the blossom to reach further than it could on its own. But then the blossom, once fertilized, it closes and it becomes the sweetest fruit that others can partake of. And once that fruit has been consumed, the seed falls right back down to the ground and starts the process all over again. This is what it is, right? When we recognize what stage we are in, This is why you never grudge where you are in your life. Ah, man, you see it for what it is. This is where I'm at. And when you see and you recognize where you are at, now you look towards where you want to be, because that is your next stage. You're never meant to stay in the same state. Nothing around us stays in the same state because everything moves. This is the principle of vibration. Everything moves. It does. And it matures. Because it's doing what? It's in that rhythm. It's in the ebb or it's in the flow. So this is why, as a blossom, you're not given seed things to do. Because you're no longer the seed. As a sapling, you're not given fruit things to do. Because you aren't that. So have some peace about where you currently are and know that you won't remain there because you cannot. Because everything moves. Stages happen. And when we look around and we see what nature does, everything has its time. This is why Neville Goddard tells you that everything has its appointed time. Everything has its appointed time, including us. We're not exempt from this. So if you are in a place in your life right now and you say, oh, I don't want to be there, simply acknowledge where you are. Acknowledge where you are in this phase of your life. And when you acknowledge it, now you take a moment and you say, I want to be there. And all the steps in between that Neville Goddard calls the bridge of incidents, where going from one stage to the next unfolds. We don't know how it unfolds, we know that it does. And when I say how, I mean the intricate workings of it, because you know it unfolds by way of law. But that inner working of the law, we don't see it. Not that we cannot, but it's just not there for us to see, because the law has its way of doing things. It tells you exactly what it's going to do. The law always tells you what it will do. As within, so without. That's what it does. It corresponds. It moves. It moves between two poles. It creates a rhythm. It works by way of causation and gender projection, acceptance of the projected. It tells you exactly what it will do. But the how, that's its job. We're not privy to the how, but we are told what we can expect. So if you're told what to expect, there's never a need for uncertainty. There isn't one. And why not? Because every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. That's why there's not a need for uncertainty. There's no need for surprise. The law always tells you what it is going to do. And so whatever stage you're at today, whether it be seed, sprout, sapling, tree, blossom, fruit, it doesn't matter which stage you're at. Be in that stage, because that stage is preparation for the next. You know the story of bamboo. 4 years bamboo will burrow beneath the soil. For 4 years. It does not break the surface. For 4 years. And if you're looking at that 4 years of your life and you're like, oh my God, when am I going to just bust out of this? If you bust out too soon, look at bamboo. You actually have to, because you can't burn it, because it sprouts again, because the roots are alive. You have to kill the root in order to kill the bamboo. The This is how sturdy it is. This is how anchored it is. So take the time to be where you are. As my father says, you rush the brush, you waste the paint. Take the time to learn who you are in the stage that you are in. And you can be sure of this. In that seed stage, oh, you know exactly what you contain. You know who you are. Because when you know who you know what to do in the next phase. And you learn more and more of yourself. Nothing is withheld from you or I. It is just asked that you grow in the stage that you're at. This is why you are never given more than you can bear. Not because you're weak, but because the stage that you are in must correspond. Hear it. The stage that you are in must correspond with the experiences. This is the beauty of what we've been given. This is why we don't beat ourselves up when you are in a particular stage. Oh my God, how come I can't do that? How come I'm not good enough? No. The stage that you are currently in is preparing you for the next. How can you go to the next when you're not anchored? We all know what happens because we heard about this in the parable of the sower. Some seed fell on rocky ground and it sprouted, but then it died for lack of nourishment. Some just fell on the wayside and the birds came and gobbled it up. But the seed that fell in the fertile soil, it grew and it brought forth a harvest. There are stages, trimesters in pregnancy. There's stages. The fetus goes through a metamorphosis. So you see, today let us be gracious with ourselves. Be kind to ourselves in the stage that we are at, because you are guaranteed you can't stay there. This is why it tells you weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning. You cannot cry forever. You cannot laugh forever because of the law of rhythm. There's an ebb and there is a flow. Ecclesiastes tells us there's a time and a place for everything under the sun. This is what it tells us. And this is why we are reminded today that you're never given more than you can handle. You're never given more because it is dependent upon the stage that you are in. This is why you take your time. Confucius tells us, nature takes her time, yet everything is accomplished. Everything is accomplished. Shoot, feels like it's winter forever. But we know that spring is right around the corner. It can't stay winter forever. It can't stay spring forever. We don't always stay the student. So today, be encouraged to know that whatever stage of life that you are in, embrace it, learn from it. Be like bamboo and burrow down to the depths with that knowledge to anchor yourself. Because once you burst forth, there's no more time to be anchored. What you've set down has to sustain. I trust that this morning, these things will be an encouragement to you because I know what it feels like sometimes. When we say, are we there yet? Am I ready for the next one yet? Or you can be like me and say, okay, I'm ready. And every time you say you're ready, you're like, oh, wait, I'm actually not. Because I'm just eager. But we have to take our time in that phase. learn, practice in the phase. It's not that you're not good enough. It's not that you don't have all the information. Far be it. No, no, you have it. The seed contains the essence of what it will become as fruit. That's you and I. We're seeds. We have everything within us. Allow it to emerge. Don't fight it. Allow it to happen. Because it's not like you can force that seed to sprout any sooner. It takes its allotted time. It just does. So we don't have to rush. We don't have to uh we don't have to rush. We can rest in the assurance that each stage will materialize. Let's take a moment now, as you ponder these things, to welcome people into the space. Queen Marat, give me one moment to acknowledge everybody, and then I'll come to you. Um, do that. All right. So, who's here in the Twitter sphere? Queen Marat's here, Jeff here is here, Shea Butter is here, and Matthias is here. It's good to see you in Twitter. Fanbase, we have Yolanda, L, Zola, Miss McQueen, Dawn is here, Shanice is here, My Melanin Divinity is here. And let's see who's here in YouTube. Jamea is here as well. Did I say Shanice? There you are, darling. I see you. Asonia is here. David, Emanon, Will is here. Anot is here. And for the others who have not made themselves known, welcome on such a lovely day. It is always a pleasure to see you all. Queen Marat, you wanted to say something, darling.
Peace and love to everybody. And Professor, I love God through you. I appreciate all you do. I wanted to kind of just piggyback off of something that you were just saying. I had a conversation last night with a poet friend of mine, and everything that you were just saying just resonated with me some more. I am in a space right now where I've been diligently looking for work, and I was telling her that I've given myself grace because I know that I'm putting in the work to find what I need, but I'm also taking the time to write more, finish up my book, spend time with my kids, because I know when that time comes where I'll actually be dabbling into work, I might not have the space to do that. And when you were saying that, it resonated with me because I said the same thing to her last night, that sometimes we get frustrated because things are not as we would like them to be, but there's always a reason for it. So I'm taking advantage of the fact that I don't have a steady work right now because I can spend that time with my kids. I can go do chalk outside. I can paint with them. I can play with them, as opposed to the time that's going to come when I'm actually working and I won't have that time. So I just wanted to put that out there to all of you. Sometimes we're not right where we want to be, but there's a reason. There's a season, just like you said. The seedling ain't ready. Because I've been offered some work, but I can't take the work because I need to make sure that it's okay for my kids, that I'm able to pick them up, that I'm going to have that time with them on the weekend. So I just wanted to put that out there again in a different way so everybody could kind of see what I'm talking about, just as what you said. So that's what I wanted to say. I wish you all a blessed day. Follow the law, flow with ease. No, thank you.
Queen Marat, thank you. It is such a confirmation. It truly, truly is such a confirmation and an encouraging one at that. So you see, every every single phase that you go through, be like that mom to be. You know that the first trimester, you don't tell anybody anything. It's just your secret, and you bask in it. your first stage. In the second stage, you begin to feel the evidence of what you're going through. And then, well, you just can't hide it anymore. It sprouts, doesn't it? And then you bear fruit. It is a very beautiful thing to acknowledge where we are. Whether you think it is the darkest of places, acknowledge it, because light is within darkness. It, it is there. Nothing exists without the light. So you see, revel in where you are, acknowledge it, and you gather as much as you can from where you are, because it sets the foundation. It truly, truly does. And you know, I woke up this morning to a most phenomenal email, a testimony. Absolutely incredible, of hearing when someone says, I could not have, I didn't have my birth certificate, so I couldn't get housing. I couldn't do these things. And they ended up homeless because of not having the documentation. And they said, I applied the law and I found places to be. I found a place to be. It wasn't ideal, but every day I recognized more and more that if I gave in to what was there around me, it would pull me down. So I kept my eyes on the law. They got their birth certificate, they got their housing, they got their work, and their cat came back. Seriously, the cat came back. So when I tell you to acknowledge where you are, I'm not just telling it to you because I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know how to encourage you. That's not why I'm telling it to you. I'm telling it to you because when you acknowledge where you are, you'll begin to put those roots down, that knowledge, that power that sustains, so that when you go to the next phase, you know what you're doing. You know what to do because you've been fortified. You've prepared the way. This is the beauty of what we have. This is the beauty. And this is why you're never given more than you can handle. That's what it actually means. That each stage has its own manifestation, its own way. This is what it is. It's not a bad thing. But people like to compare it to, you know, how you temper steel. You know, you temper the steel by putting it into the heat and pounding out the impurities. But, oh, that can be a little bit discouraging to hear that you've got to be pounded to get the best of you out. That's what you do with metal. You're not metal, right? Zola?
Good morning.
Good
I'm just
morning.
going to be short and sweet. I was trying to message you in the back channel, but every time I tried to do that, it would kick me out of the room. So I had to come back in. It's like, I got to make a report or something. And then it's like, when you don't have a problem, it wants to ask you to report a problem. And now I have a problem. I'm trying to figure out how to report it. But anyway, I just wanted to piggyback off what the other lady said. I you know how you just sometimes I love this is perfect because my daughter, she has allergies and I've never had allergies, so I'm still kind of learning how this process goes. Like, I know what she's allergic to, but sometimes things happen and it catches you off guard. So you have to kind of readjust. And we had this tornado weather in Texas about a weekend ago, and I didn't know that the tornado weather would cause her allergies to act up. So I get frustrated whenever my daughter gets sick, like how she did when she was in public school all the time. Because I'm like, dang, I have to pull her out. Even though my work, is flexible, it's still, it throws everything off, right? And you know how you get frustrated, if you get sick, like sick, and then you got to really, really fight it to get rid of the cold.
Mm-hmm.
And I get frustrated because I think, dang, it just takes a lot out of you. There's sleepless nights. When it makes the simple stuff, getting the simple stuff you have to get done every day hard, a struggle, and it barely leaves room to get anything extra done. Like if there's an emergency or if you have like a major goal you're trying to reach, you have to put that stuff on the back burner, right? And then also keep yourself from getting sick. Well, and I also think like, dang, it, every time she gets sick, it reminds me we're alone. If I don't get us better, nobody else will. So, and then do you guys ever get frustrated and you kind of either in your head or you speak it outside of your mind, like you just look in the mirror and you be like, this is my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they're coughing and wheezing and crying. She's only like 4. And I'm just like, you know what? I'll use the laws of attraction. First of all, sometimes the answers are right there in front of us. I don't have allergies, but I had an immune system where I got sick for every little bitty thing, and it always took me forever to get better. And I started taking these herbs. And I took these herbs one time, like for an entire year, and I never got sick. So I started back that as one of my resolutions. And my daughter, I give her like her allergy medicine and her prescribed medication, but I don't give her the herbs until she gets sick. I said, this is what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start giving her those herbs on a regular to help keep her from getting sick. So we don't wait until she gets sick to try, really sick to try to wheel her back to health and everything. So, and I haven't even gotten sick yet. So that's great. I know I'm doing something right. And so instead of just looking in the mirror and saying, this is my life, out of frustration, I
Mm-hmm.
started saying, this is my life temporarily. Or I'd say, this is my life just right now. And I start using your laws of attraction. I visualized in my head my daughter getting better. Even though I knew I was already physically doing the right thing, I wanted to put that like spiritual law into it because I know you said it can't help but conspire to give everything we want when we think of it mentally, turning it into physical. And so I even start saying my daughter's gonna get better, and sure enough, she's sleeping more throughout the night. It's like I got her purifier going. I give her medicine in the day and at night, and everything. So she's her little I don't want to gross anybody out, but her little snot is turning from like that yellow to the clear, and she's not coughing as much. She's drinking the teas that I'm making her, the herbal teas, because at first she wouldn't touch them. And now she's, because I don't put sugar in my tea, I put like honey, lemon, and lime. So, and she drinks water all on her own. She drinks more water than me. So she does a good job at being healthy for the most part. And I get her the good water. I said, if you're gonna do like mommy says and drink water every day, then I give her the good water. I give her the Fiji, so she would kill the little bottles of Fiji. So I just wanted to say because it's like I did everything already, like with the public school thing, keeping her from getting sick, and here we are back in this state again because of some stupid tornado weather, and it's just so unplanned. And I'm like, I'm doing everything right. And here we go again, the same problem. So now I'm like, I'm a problem solve this where we're not gonna have the same problem again. So it's just I just use those laws of the laws of creation, and I just this is every time we use it, what you say, it works. So I just wanted to say that because I know it can be frustrating sometimes when you're like knocking, even when you're doing like knocking those goals out. It'd be that one little thing to make you mad or slow you down or set you off, and it just discourages you and can bring you all the way down. But I stopped saying this is my life, and I started saying this is my life temporarily. Taking control over it. So just want to say that.
Excellent, Zola. Thank you very much. Because it is true, they do tend to wear us down sometimes, you know. But as long as you hold fast to the law, everything changes. Emanon?
Peace and love to everyone. I had to slide over here and come speak out to the sister. Before I do so, real quick, I want to give a big shout out to my good brother Jaquan Lewis. He's doing a lot overseas and his chasing his dream to reality, and I'm just happy to see him here. Haven't heard his water and allergies. I too suffer from allergies that I didn't understand for a long time. And in my research to try to figure out, I'm not a medicine person. I hate Xanax and everything like that. And I'm so happy to hear that you're making herbal teas. You're doing the honey. That's great. I want to push you a little further, and I did miss it a little bit. So if I'm speaking with something that you're already doing, I do apologize ahead of time. Look into eating more fruit. Get her to eat more fruit. It's great that she's drinking water, but the greatest hydration comes from H3O2 for the body, which is actually comes from fruit. Also be monitoring, again, if I'm speaking out, you've already spoken or you haven't done, of what she eats. Processed foods, honestly, a lot of meats nowadays, it kind of heightens our allergies. So when, the seasons blow around, it's like we already have a little something in our body, and the meats are breaking the body down more, which heightens the allergy reaction. As well, I had one more piece to go with you for that, and I was going to yield. I lost train of thought on that, but those are a few tips if you haven't done already to look into. I make a lot of things natural now. I just learned how to make almond milk, greatest thing. So I'm pushing forward to getting away from the products that we're used to buying in the store, because I'm learning how these different things are heightening things that was the other thing. I'm learning how these things are heightening, my allergies, or what we know as allergies. But when it comes to the mucus, especially for a child, my youngest daughter is 4, and when she got sick and I can hear the mucus, I could never figure out how to get it out. There's a recipe called onion water that my wife actually found and put together and passed it to everyone in the house, because we were passing something around, couldn't figure it out. But it's mostly just red onions, lemon peels, which heighten a lot for the body. Does a lot for your body. Any citrus necessarily does a lot for body and killing bacteria. And then, of course, you can sweeten it, but the onion itself in the water is not bad. Take it as a shot, or maybe like a 4 ounce, and that'll help break the mucus down that's building in the body with the allergies that you're getting, which will help push that out. Keep doing the teas every day, twice a day. The honey's coating the throat if you don't know already. I just wanted to pass that information to you just in case you haven't gotten that far in your research to try to figure out, and hopefully that keeps y'all safe and healthy and be able to pass through everything you go on for the rest of your endeavors. I'm going to yield. Love you all, guys.
Thank you, Eminon, for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we don't eat pork, but we eat meat here and there. And it makes perfect sense, because she never eats a lot of meat. When I try to serve her meat, she will not finish her meat very often. But when I make her veggie burgers, she loves mommy's veggie burgers, opposed to the meat that they are pre-seasoned meat that comes in the store. So thank you.
Well done. I love our community. I truly love it. And so here, be reminded today that we are in a stage. We are in a stage, but we will emerge from this stage to the next, and to the next, and to the next. Just simply keep going, because, as they tell you, you're never given more than you can bear. Ever. This is just the way the law works. It's the way the law works. It's not that there's someone saying, well, you don't look strong enough. I'll just hold up. No, the law meets you where you are at. It always does, because it is always working. It does not take a break, so we don't either. And it is a most beautiful thing to be reminded of that. It is absolutely amazing. And so when I woke up this morning, my eyes popped open. Way too early, but popped open nonetheless. And I saw that email. I was reminded that not everything looks great all the time. But if we take it in stride, see, because you're not alone. You're not alone in this situation. You have the law at all times. Yeah, well, how come I can't get this right now? What are you going to do with it right now? How are you going to sustain it right now? These are the questions. And so when we are looking at our lives and we are seeing where we're at, be confident. Be confident in where you are at. Acknowledge it. Simply acknowledge it. Polarity. Where you are, where you would like to be. And when you acknowledge that, you begin to understand and you grow. You grow. You do not stay the same because you cannot. Nothing stays the same. Everything moves. Everything does. This is the law of vibration. Everything is moving. So we cannot rest on the laurels. You can lean back for a minute. You can take a moment just to gather yourself. That's what we do. Take a moment to gather ourselves so that when we stand again, we move forward. It is always expanding. This is what we do. This is what we do. So that's your encouragement today. Be encouraged to know that you are never given more. You can't encounter more. But you grow and you expand from where you are at into where you want to be. You've got to become. And this is why so many people are frustrated with trying to manifest. We don't try to manifest, we manifest because we ourselves are manifestations. But one has to change. But they want to remain the same and get new things, but they want to stay as they are. You cannot stay as you are. This is why it's imperative that you form a lifestyle. And you'll notice that lifestyles change as you evolve. Because now you've learnt more. You, like the bamboo, have burrowed deeper down. This is where we're at right now. So don't think for one moment, yeah, you get the thing you want, sure. But then how do you manage it? When you haven't learned how to do that in the season prior. You haven't learned how to handle or how to choose your emotions. But yet you want something greater. Learning to choose your emotions. You begin to master the self. Knowing who you are is where it starts. First stage. That's it. So rest assured that the thing, whatever that thing is that you may be dealing with, whatever it is, you're learning something right there and then. Because you're looking forward to where you want to be as you learn. Because that's the direction you're going. You're here now, but you're stepping forward as you learn because you can't stand still. Everything moves. And so once we remember that, embrace it. And you will find that things will go smoother because when you don't fight against, everything emerges as it should. You're not strangling it, you know what I mean? You're taking it in stride. It is just a beautiful thing. There are a few names I haven't said today. Ty's Tidbits, I see you. I will share that information. I'm going to put that there. But today, as you take that time to recognize where you are, know that you are right there, not because anybody put you there, not because anybody is holding you there. That is just your stage. We all have them. Toddlers cannot be treated like teenagers because they are not. A grown man can't be treated like a baby because he is not. The stage that you are in is just where you are for the time. That's it, just for the time. So revel in it. That's why they tell you, oh my God, they grew up so fast. Because they do. The stage never stays there. You mature. I see you, D-Lock. Fresh mangoes has been suggested, and local honey has been suggested. So you see today.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Zola. Um, Again, that's why I love this community. We grow together. We didn't always start here. We had the beginning stage as well. We had the beginning. And look at how we've progressed now. So you see, everything around us is showing us that we are growing, we are maturing, we are learning. So don't grudge where you are. Learn where you're at. Learn you, because it is you. It doesn't matter what stage you go into, you take you with you. If you don't know who you are in this stage, it makes the next stage a little tougher because you need to know who you are. Use the beginning to always know who you are and understand yourself so that when you move through the stages, you know who you are. You must know. I can't come along and tell you who you are. So take the time. This is why you're never overwhelmed with things. It will always be presented one at a time because your success is guaranteed. What you can't focus if you're overwhelmed. So you get the one thing to deal with. Be faithful in that one thing. Because then when the other comes, you're like, this is a piece of cake. I know who I am. I know my limitations. I know how I can break through my limitations. That's what you do. They tell you start small, right? You got to take the first step. They tell you again, crawl before you can walk. Mind you, some babies, they just get up and they walk. It's in the breast milk. That's what I say. But be encouraged today to know you are where you're at. This is your time. This is your season. Make sure and glean all of what you can from it. Because once you leave it, you cannot return to it. So learn as much as you can. Learn and grow and expand so that when you move to the next, you do the same thing there. We are learning who we are. That's what we're doing. We're learning who we are. And in learning who we are, we begin to understand who the other is. So that is the beauty of what we have this morning. Cece, I see you, Miss Ravioli. Yoda Burger, Miss B, and Jaquan, your name was mentioned, so I will welcome you to the space because I've never met you before. Welcome to the space. I trust we'll see you again. KZ, Carla. I see D-Lock and Julia. Ties, tidbits. I see you all. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3. Remember, we've got some cool things coming up. YouTube members, you have a sound bath coming up on the 11th. I forget the time, but it's there. You just hit notify me and it'll ding you when it starts. Shoot, it'll ding me too. I forget the time, but it's there. Patreon, don't you have your own? Yours is coming. And Fanbase, you have your own. You subscribe to me there. You have your own sound bath coming up. You really do. And what else do we have coming up? Month end, we have the workshop for the all. The all is mind. We get to learn about the all this month end. It is absolutely spectacular to learn about the all. Oh, indeed it is. And also, 2190 is still going. 21 days to form our habit. I trust you've been practicing. 90 days to practice the 21-day habit that you formed, and you create your lifestyle. If you still want to be a part of that, check it out. It is on my fan base, it's on my YouTube, it is on my Patreon. And let's do it. And if you have not tapped into that WhatsApp number yet, there are many messages there because I put a daily one up. I've sent the link out so that if you ever feel like, oh, I can't continue on with this 21 days, yeah, we'll remind you. That testimony this morning is a reminder. I could not imagine, well, I almost was, but I was not. I cannot imagine having to go through what they did. But yet, they did not give up, nor did they give in to despair. They kept the law ever in their hearts. That's what she did. And now, she's just graduated to the next stage. She put the law in action. It is not good enough to hear. It is best to practice the law. Because then, when you know it, nobody can come along and say, well, that's not possible. Because you know what you've done. You know what you've done. And you know that you can recreate it. 2, 1. And if you want more of this, you know we're always on YouTube afterwards. Right? You know where to find me afterwards after I close. Twitter and fanbase. You know you can find me on YouTube because I'm still there. 1. Twitter, I love you. Thank you all for being here. Wait, Lilith? I see you, honey. You got your own beautiful testimony. Oh, indeed, you do. I'm not going to tell it for you. You got to come out and share it on the next testimonial. Because when you hear that, Lord have mercy. If you're not moved to keep your feet firmly planted and practice the law, nothing will do it for you. She knows what she's done. I love you, Twitter. You can find me on YouTube at Positively Angela. You can come on over for some more tasty treats. I love you. YouTube, Twitter is gone right now. Fanbase, thank you all for being here. Miss Ravioli, KZ, Carla, Malik, My Melanin, Zola, Dawn, Shanice, Miss McQueen, L, Yolanda, and I did see Summer Rose. I did see my Summer Rose. I will see you all later. Or you can see me again right now on YouTube. Much love, everybody. Much love. Fan base is closed. YouTube, just you and I. Oh, David, I see your comment there. You heard what I told you about the tuning forks and crystal bowl? Well, yeah. Yes. You're the inspiration for that. Because lots of people are curious about how to use sound. If you recognize that we use sound because we have vocal cords, and it's funny, the air vibrates over the vocal cords. When you speak, that's what you're doing. The air vibrates over, and your mouth takes shape to get the sound of the word. So you see, everything vibrates. Sound has been shown, cymatics, it's been shown. We know this. The sound, the vibration, because you don't actually hear words. You were taught those words, and those words match, they correspond to the vibration. That sound wave passes over the eardrum. So, what does it do to your body? Think about that. Think about your favorite song and how it makes your body feel. Yeah. Think about when somebody says, "Oh, I missed you." Think about how that makes your body feel. Yeah, sound. But then there's also light. Light also has its own frequency, its own vibration, and it does something to your physical body. So that's why I decided we're going to do sound baths. And we'll also do light ones. Light and sound. We'll do them because each chakra corresponds with a color. It's just light, right? It corresponds. So, like I usually turn on my little lamp and I choose the color I want and I look at that color because it has an effect. It has an effect on us. And so this is why when I say just pay attention to what you're listening to or what you're looking at. When you look at the rainbow in the sky, when light is refracted, all those different colors. Like when you look at it, you're like, wow, it's so pretty. Like you're in awe of it, even though it's just the light, right? But it's beautiful. It does something to you when you look at it. It is beautiful. And so that's why it's important that for us in this community, we grow and we expand and we learn more and we practice more. And that's why using light and sound is important for us. And so that's what we'll be doing. Don't worry, it's coming. It's on the 11th, and then I just don't know what time I'll do the other two rooms, the Patreon and fan base. Probably either before or after. I'm not sure, but we'll see because I want us to experience it. And that's why I appreciate you all for being here. We learn and we grow together. It is beautiful. I just want to make sure I haven't missed anyone this morning. I know I haven't said Impressella. Yeah, I haven't said her name. But Sonia, I see you. David, Eminon, I see you. And thank you for sharing this morning. Will, yes, acknowledging where we are is powerful. Anot, I see you. I know you guys have said you wanted to be moderators. I have to figure out, you know what? Hang on, let me see. Because I have access. Oh, there I am. I have access to my iPad this morning. Let me go in here and see if I can do it from there. I know Anot wants to be. Um, oh, there you go. Anot, you were just added. That's nice. That was easy. And Eminon, same thing. You said you wanted to. And there you are. You have both been added. Oh, you would like to? Okay, D-Lock, because you're around and I know you now. And so that's great. See, now we have two ladies, two gentlemen. Yeah. So there, you guys have been so great and patient to help me do this. See, I learned how to do it. I was trying to do it from the studio, but I couldn't for some strange reason. And then my bestie was like, well, maybe you have to be in the chat to do it. And I finally clued in that after because I use Fanbase on um, my iPad. And so when I closed there, something said, go here. And I was like, yeah. And here we are. So, today is a lovely day. You are most welcome, D-Lock and Ana. And D-Lock, Ana, and Eminon, you are welcome. Thank you for helping me do these things because I like to be able to catch all of the comments so that everybody's acknowledged. You guys are amazing. You must know this. You must know it. Not because I say so, because the law says so. When you, because I had another testimony yesterday. I'm not going to say names, not yet. But when you say things to me like, my wife is looking at me with more respect, that's because you respected yourself more, as within, so without. And now you're reaping your harvest. But we think it is just for things. It's not just for things. As the seed falls to the ground after it's been consumed from the fruit, you and I move on to different stages. This is why taking the law with us is so imperative at that next stage. That's what it is. That is what it is. We're not just these, we're not just running around trying to get things. Things come inevitably. Esther Hicks always says, your inner being knows what you want. Your inner being is you. Of course, you know what you want. This is why when you relax and you raise your vibration, the thing that you've been choking for so long shows up. And you're like, oh, what a coincidence. And then the first thing you say is, well, how did I do it? You do it by acknowledging what you are. You can't force, you allow. This is the beauty of what learning the law will do for you. And you will begin to understand that it's not about things. Things will rot. Things will rust. Things will erode and lose their value. It is you who gives the thing its value, not the other way round. You give the thing value because the value is within you. That's what you're doing. As within, so without. So the thing can't exist unless you create it. You have to give it meaning. You have to give it value. So be reminded of that today. Be encouraged to know you're never given more than you can bear. Because you have to correspond. That's what it is. It is always good to share, Queen Marat. It always is. Because it is there as edification for others. So that they too can hold fast if they feel discouraged. Because sometimes we don't always know, or we can't always encourage ourselves. It doesn't, I don't know why, because sometimes it just depends on where we're at. When you encounter someone who's been fighting their whole life just to survive, they are tired. But the edification that we share with one another is like Aaron to Moses and holding up his hands so that he can continue to win the battle. That is why we share. So that we can edify each other to keep going when things seem bleak. That's why we do it. You know, that's why. And so every morning I come and I tell you the same thing. Hold fast to the law. Hold fast to the law and allow it to change you, because it will. It will change you. You can't remain the same. Anyhow, I love you all. And to the moderators in the space, woo-hoo, thank you. There's the four of you now, memory serves me correctly. Yes, because Ms. M, I don't see her in the space. but she's also a moderator. And so thank you for volunteering and making sure that we catch the comments and so that we're heard. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you very, very much for being here on this lovely day. And there's one more night. One more night. Oh, yeah. I'm totally feeling myself today because tomorrow is the big day. My mother was like, I would love to come and spend your birthday with you. And I was like, I don't know. Because I'm so, I'm so reclusive. I did get a cake. Yes, I bought my own cake. I picked it up on Friday from the store. And I'm going to have me some cake, y'all, for my birthday. Of course. I gotta celebrate the fact that I'm alive. I love it. And so I thank you all for being here and making it a beautiful, beautiful time. I appreciate it so much. And I look forward to seeing you. Who knows? Maybe I'll go live with something today. I don't know yet because my hair is still popping. So maybe I'll go live. I don't know, but we'll see. Oh, David, thank you. Thank you. I'm turning 30. 30 plus. My son's like, Mom, you're turning 46. I'm like, you know what? Thanks. I just say I'm turning 30 for like ever, but I love it. And that's why you guys are awesome. You allow me to be me in all of my glory. And I love you for it. All right, y'all. Go forth and acknowledge where you are at and know that you're never given more than you can bear. David, thank you, Ana. Mm. David, you're approaching 18. Yes, honey, yes. I love it. I love it. Y'all are awesome. I will catch you all in the morning. Oh, yes. I'll catch you in the morning. Much love, everybody. Much, much love.